esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Starladder Season 11 LAN Finals. Here with Day 3, our first best of 3 has been concluded, and Team Fire making a relatively early exodus. Not one of the first teams eliminated, but first team eliminated here on Day 3.
Yep. Heartbreaking if you're a Fire fan, but good for your Polar fans out there. Maybe we're a bit nervous about yesterday's performance, but today shows that they are looking to bounce back, and they do it with a 2-0.
Yeah, it was impressive stuff from the Polar side, got to say. I mean, they looked really bad yesterday, especially the drafting in Game 2. So I think maybe I think that was obviously the big area for improvement. You get a draft you're comfortable with, you figure out Fire, and works well.
Yeah, so coming up next, MVP Phoenix versus Na'Vi. It'll be our next best of 3, and again, lower bracket, so elimination on the line here, and the winner will be fighting against Aces Polar, and the winner of that will be moving on to the loser bracket finals. So still a lot of good Dota to come today, and still a few more teams to be eliminated, but Godz, what are you thinking here? Na'Vi versus MVP Phoenix. This is an interesting matchup. Two very different play styles, and we don't see these teams square off too often.
Yeah, complete polar opposites, I feel, in a lot of ways. MVP Phoenix are very, very teamfight-centric. They've been picking a lot of the Warlock, not the Magnus now, sorry, the Warlock, these heavy push strats with the Panda Brewmaster. And I think Na'Vi, very easy to see what's coming their way as far as if they're not banning out those heroes. MVP will pick the Brew early, will pick the Warlock to go with it, to go for these push strats. For Na'Vi, much more about the kind of Halvos kind of heroes where you're looking at the Troll, the Juggernaut, putting Dendi on the Mag if you can get it. It's less teamfight-centric, even though they're picking the Magnus, though.
Yeah, hopefully MVP Phoenix kind of stick with what's comfortable. We saw in their opening series against Aces Polar where they tried to draft around their opponents, and their second series, they played their game. They went with the Warlock, the Brew, the heroes you're talking about, and it was almost like a different team. So for the sake of MVP Phoenix, hopefully they stay in their comfort zone. What are you thinking here, Merlini? You're awfully silent.
Are they going to ban the Warlock?
I think so.
Second phase ban?
I think
first phase?
The Brew's more important, but they can actually play Brew, whereas I don't think they'll actually utilize the Warlock. So again, first pick going to be pretty important for Na'Vi here. I would say Warlock first ban is warranted. What else would you first ban against them?
I guess, well, I feel like Na'Vi, it's like, do they really want to first pick the Brew? Normally it's like they'd rather go for the Troll or the Magnus.
Yeah, but they're not worried about the other team getting it. You don't need a first pick hero that's not going to be contested.
Heroes that come to mind, Doom is one that MVP Phoenix runs some. Could be worth a first ban. Tidehunter, Slark.
I'd be a bit nervous about that QO Ember Spirit, maybe.
Yeah, Ember Spirit could be. Well, we'll see some of the stats here from MVP Phoenix. Maybe seeing some of their most picked heroes will jog our memories. Vengeful Spirit, classic ban that you can't really go wrong with.
Jakiro, a hero that most teams don't run anymore, but they have still utilized as a nice pushing assault to go side by side with their typical
they
Warlock
drafted it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually the first Jakiro pick of the tournament, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
First and only so far, but worked well with the Brewmaster Warlock strategy they had, so...
I don't know if they'll throw a first phase ban on Jakiro, but if they don't pick it up in those first or second picks, maybe a second phase worthy hero.
I think it's a very late pick for MVP. They made, in Game 2, they could have gone Jakiro again, but they made the adjustment. Like, I think it was, what was it was something like they got the Disruptor instead because they were versing a Puck, I want to say. Was that what it was in Game 2? I can't remember what it was, but they picked different...
Lion.
Yeah, they picked different supports based on what their opponents pick. So I don't think they're going to go jumping into the Jakiro early on. I think it's much more dependent on what their opponents do.
Yeah, in Game 1 of the series versus Power Rangers yesterday, they picked Jakiro 4th, and in the second game...
It was ignored. I don't think it was even banned. I think it was just ignored.
No, totally ignored. And I think they did actually last pick the Disruptor.
Yeah.
They did a Disruptor Rubik with the Brew Warlock opener.
Yeah, so Game 1 was Cheshire Cat's Puck wrecking them, so they're like, well, that's partly because we had a Jakiro support. We didn't have supports good at dealing with Puck. So Game 2, they went with a Lion Disruptor. Both heroes who can zone out Puck really well, and also Disruptor just kills Puck, so... They will. I don't think they're going to go jumping into a Jakiro pick, especially since Puck is something that Na'Vi like to run, and the support Jakiro doesn't really do much against a Puck.
Yeah, we talked about Puck a bit in our opener today, and Na'Vi is a team that loves Puck in the off lane. That's been their go-to Funnick hero. Well, maybe not go-to, but they've been putting Funnick on that hero quite a bit recently. We mentioned Dendy. I mean, he's played a lot of Puck in the past. Maybe is this a time where Na'Vi might want to switch it up from what they've been doing recently and get Dendy rather back on a hero he's comfortable with?
Might be forced to if MVP get on the first ban Magnus train.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm sure no one would mind seeing it, but yeah. I don't know.
I think they need to first ban the Mag. It's really good against their push and 5-man style. Unless they want to go for a Venomancer, but that's not something that they've turned to often.
Yeah, yesterday, Na'Vi versus Empire. Obviously, Empire 2-0ing Na'Vi in a very dominant fashion. We saw the Mag ban come out in both games, and that seemed to kind of throw Na'Vi's whole strategy for a loop. So hopefully last night they got to do a little bit of theory crafting and come up with something a little more creative.
I think the other important ban was the second stage Abaddon ban, where Na'Vi like to go for these dual lanes, and that allows Funnick to play different heroes. You can play a Weaver, a Clinks, these heroes that normally struggle a bit more in the offlane, but with the Abaddon support, you have these dual lanes, and you can kind of abuse the fact that you have an offlaner for Funnick that gets a lot more farms. So MVP Phoenix probably going to do something similar and focus that Abaddon with those second stage bans.
Yeah, another hero that comes to mind, just looking at the team profile for Starladder matches, Bane, a hero that traditionally Go Black has been a big fan of. Talked about it a little bit yesterday. Not the strongest hero in this meta, but any chance we could maybe see a Bane pop out? I don't think we've seen him yet this tournament.
I don't think so.
It just used to be all the rage, getting a hold of either the Bane or the Shadow Demon, and you have the Mirana roaming around and causing a nuisance all over the place. Bane was good at being able to zone back off laners, or if Enfeeble was necessary to be able to partake in the mid lane, but yeah, we just don't see it as much anymore. Good against BKB heroes.
I think it's good for the laning phase where MVP is really weak, and it's also good against really farm single cores. Yeah. Like we see QO usually get the majority of the farm. March, if he doesn't get Warlock or Death Prophet, he usually doesn't have that much. So I think Bane is actually a decent pickup for them.
It's decent, but it's not trendy.
It is definitely not trendy.
So no, we can't be untrendy apparently.
Okay. We have an interview, but again, I have no idea who it's with.
It's with MVP Heen. We've got
Heen.
Heen.
Okay, good. I'm glad you guys. Okay. So we saw Heen, and I guess it was yesterday.
Yeah. He has some good interviews. So.
Yeah, he does. All right, let's go ahead and see what Heen has to say about this upcoming match.
We're here with the Heen from MVP team for the third time in a row. I really like making interviews with you, but what about the rest of your team? Are they too lazy or too shy?
I think they're both lazy and shy. I mean, it's early in the morning for us, so they like their sleep, and they need time to really wake up. Yeah.
Your English skills are hilarious. Where did you learn it?
I lived in New Jersey for 6 years when I was young. I traveled with my family, so I lived in Korea for the past 10 years, but it's mostly that I lived there when I was young.
Well, let's go back to the Starladder. You obviously remember playing versus Na'Vi here at Cyber Arena Season 9 LAN Finals. In front of this home crowd, you insanely supported them. Most likely gonna be the same this time. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, sure. Who doesn't like Na'Vi, right? They're always, anywhere they go, they always have a fan base. But this time around, I feel like we have a team color that's pretty concrete. Last time around, we didn't really have strategies that we were confident with. We just threw around ideas. We were experimenting. But this time, we'll have something prepared. And even if we lose, we'll put up a good fight. Yeah.
Well, and the evidence of Dota Asian Championship, which is right around the corner, the experience you gained here is supposed to be useful for you, not only in terms of facing Western teams, but also dealing with this massive crowd pressure. How do you think?
It definitely helps because I think LAN experience is very real. For example, HR this tournament was, many thought they would go far because they performed really well in the European DAC qualifiers, but they dropped out really quick in this tournament, partly due to stand-ins, but also because I feel like they haven't had as many LAN experiences as the other teams. So this tournament will be another, experience that ensures that we play our best at future tournaments.
Well, wish you good luck, of course, here at Starladder, Dota Asian Championship as well, and all the future tournaments. Thanks a lot for joining me, and we're going back to studio.
Okay, so for the third time now, learning some more about Heen and MVP Phoenix. Some mild shots fired there. Where's the rest of your team? They're just a little bit lazy and maybe a little bit shy.
That goes for most players, I feel.
Yeah, Heen very outgoing. I didn't know that he spent a lot of time in New Jersey, of all places, though. That's my home turf. That's exciting.
Yeah, you're a Jersey boy, too.
Yeah, now in the player lounge, I'll have something to talk to him about.
Okay.
Pretty cool. But talking about DAC a little bit there and LAN experience, not the first Starladder MVP Phoenix has been to, and the first one, not the best results, but a lot of folks said this is really valuable experience for a pretty new team on the block, and that's basically what he said. This is really good experience going into a big event like DAC, and he chalked up some of the struggle that Hellraisers had this event, partially to the stand-ins, but also to the fact that they don't have a lot of LAN experience themselves.
Yeah, I think that's where MVP, like Starladder Season 9 was their first big international LAN tournament. They didn't win a game. From there, they went on to play at Dream League, where they managed to go, I think, 5-9 in the group stage. Didn't qualify for the final phase at the actual DreamHack Festival itself, but it was just kind of that next step. And now here they are, another Starladder LAN Finals, looking to kind of go even further. They've got one BO3 win. Na'Vi, a tough opponent, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, this is kind of a coin flip kind of matchup, though.
Can we pull up some bets? I'm curious what the Dota 2 lounge odds for this one.
Na'Vi have to be, I think, pretty heavy favorites.
Yeah, as we've mentioned before, Na'Vi tend to be fan favorites on the D2L.
But this one is, I mean, MVP Phoenix, I really haven't seen them perform too well outside of their traditional push with the Warlock Brew heavy team fight centric strategy, and I would put them more as a one-trick pony than most of the other teams here.
But could you not say the same about Na'Vi? Like day one, it was the Magnus plus Troll or whatever it was.
Yes, but
and then day two, they got 2-0 stomp. So
even throughout their whole history, Na'Vi has pulled out a lot of different things to win a lot. And MVP it's always been like, okay, when we're struggling, let's go back to this. Let's go back to our team fight. Let's go back to our push. And against more formidable opponents, it's easily dealt with if they are well prepared.
Okay. It seems like for MVP, they have a few other kind of strategies, like where QO plays like the Slark or the Ember Spirit, but the rest of the team don't feel comfortable in those strategies. Like the support players kind of look like they were walking around lost during their games on day one. So maybe something where they will struggle against Na'Vi.
Yeah, well, Heen also mentioned in that interview that they're prepared. He said, we've got a strategy in mind. We've been doing some research. We've got Na'Vi's number, and he said, even if we don't take a victory here, we're going to put up one hell of a good fight. So
yeah, he said yesterday that they love to fight. And I know Na'Vi, Havost, loves to fight.
Yes.
So this could be a brawl.
Yeah.
That makes for good Dota, so I'm excited.
A bloodbath indeed. So what were the actual bets on Dota 2 Lounge? What were the numbers?
68% Na'Vi, 32% MVP.
Okay, I don't think that's too bad. I'd say more like 60-40, but favorites. What do you think, Merlini? Would you call Na'Vi actual favorites here?
I would say a decent margin.
Okay.
Maybe even a little bit more than that.
Yeah, 70-30-ish.
More than 2-1, I would say. So, I mean, 68-32 is 2 out of 3 best of threes you expect Na'Vi to win. And MVP winning 1 out of 3, I think, is a little generous to them. I mean, they came to last Starladder, they got stomped hard. But they won some games now and then. But, I mean, best of 3 environment is just, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Okay, so match right around the corner here, folks. Other key bands we need to talk about leading up to this series. Maybe came on a little too early before this match was ready. It's scheduled to start in about half an hour, so I think we're going to start a little bit early. What are we up to in the lobby? 5?
We're 5. Gobleck's joined the game. He's going to hopefully hurdle his team into the lobby as well.
I enjoyed watching Na'Vi warm up. You've got Funnick on one side playing Audio Surfer. You've got Dendy next to him playing Osu. Go Black in a game, warming up, getting his settings, and you see on the other side, you've got Havost looking at cosmetics and deciding which arcanas he wants to use for this upcoming
extremely
upcoming
crucial,
match.
Extremely important. You want to make sure that when you go into battle, you're wearing the appropriate attire.
You got to win in style.
You got to have style points.
Absolutely.
Lose in style.
Or lose in style.
If you make those big plays, these are replays, these are highlight reels that we constantly go back to, and you got to make sure you look your absolute best. It's very, very crucial.
Yeah.
I'm not serious, by the way. I don't know. People probably would think I'm serious.
Oh, my. So for MVP Phoenix against Na'Vi, Lycan is another hero that comes to mind that we haven't talked about very much. One that they like to pull out, and the Troll Warlord. How much do you think they should be prioritizing bans against Havost in this upcoming series? We've talked about Mag being a high priority, but what about those carry heroes?
I think the Troll more so than the Lycan. If MVP are going for a group up 5-man push, I don't think Lycan fights into it very well. He can try split push, but I think Troll's a much better early game fighter. I don't know. Do you think Lycan's a problem for MVP?
I think Lycan is a bigger problem than Troll, just because we saw in game number 1 of PR versus MVP Phoenix how a Morphling was able to split push them down. I think like with a Lycan pushing instead of whatever they had a Morphling, I think it's going to be very problematic in them actually getting to group up and push. And yeah, sure, it's not as good in team fights, but it's just getting to that point where MVP Phoenix, I think, may struggle, and Na'Vi just made a play the keep away game. And
I'd love to see the return of the Havos gyrocopter. If MVP do get their hands on this like Warlock push strat, bring it out. PR tried in that game too. A lot of people apparently were it was a close game. People in the player line just saying, oh, we're going to a game 3. It didn't end up happening. I don't think they executed their mid-game team fights too well, but maybe her and Na'Vi try out if they're up against push strat.
I like the Havos gyro. They haven't picked it up recently. They like it with the Wisp. It was one of the cooler Wisp combos that I've seen when Wisp was still fresh.
I felt like when Faceless Void was like all the rage, that's when Gyro really had a hard time. We didn't see a lot of it. But now that Faceless Void's kind of fallen off a little bit, there is opportunity for something like, or use both. Yeah, he can get a lot done from the outside, certainly.
Where has Faceless Void been? That hero's been like really good.
It's like he just woke up from his slumber. What? Faceless Void? Suddenly, what?
I expect it to be picked up in a lot of these series.
Yeah.
And like by Fire, a fair amount.
We've even seen strong success with just the old classic Faceless Void / Witch Doctor or even Skywrath Mage. It's just something like, we don't do that anymore.
How many Void picks have we seen? I was just about to pull it up here.
Seen one by Cheshire Cat at least.
That could be the only one, actually.
The only one that comes to mind for me.
Funnick did have a dominating Void game, but I don't think that was here. It was recently, but I don't think it was at Starladder. So they definitely have it somewhat fresh that they can go to, but we'll see.
I think it's really good versus these 5-man group up push strats.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen too much 5-man strats lately, but against a team like MVP, that's what you would expect.
That was the only Faceless Void game. That's it. The one Cheshire Cat match. So there you go.
Dota's a crazy game, man. These heroes were just all the rage, and we just don't see them. Like Elder Titan as well. Has there even been an Elder Titan here?
There has not been an Elder Titan pick, but that is a hero that MVP Phoenix keep in their arsenal. They have at least a few picks on this patch, so that is actually a good point and something that they could pull out. He's just so damn good at controlling the Roche pit. I feel like that mixed with Natural Order, he feels very viable to me, even though teams are totally ignoring him.
A good Yules hero, and there's plenty of heroes out there that can benefit a lot from the Yules, or at least could be good against the Yules. So
yeah. I mean, is there any reason right now for 6.83 why Elder Titan is just totally off the radar?
I think there is less emphasis on Roshan compared to 6.81.
More on bounties. It's all about the bounty runes. He can't control bounties at all, not compared to the more aggressive ones. But aside from that, not terribly sure either.
Okay.
More trendy stuff.
It's a lot of it's trendy stuff, because if you look within each scene, like here, we've had the one QO Ember Spirit game, but that's a hero which is picked constantly in other scenes. The Omni Knight is picked all the time in the American scene. There's these heroes which make a place in a certain scene, but then you go somewhere else and it's like, well, we're just going to stick with what we like. We're going to draft to our team, our players, and our play style. So.
Yeah, no Tidehunter, a fair amount of Brew, no Viper. I think Viper and a lot of heroes underpicked in this particular tournament.
What's overpicked? Is that Puck? Is there too many Puck picks?
Vengeful Spirit we're seeing
Vengeful
all the
Spirit
time.
probably.
Dazzle we're seeing all the time. Wisp
Quiz time. Who has been the most played hero this tournament?
I want to say Vengeful.
Venge, probably. Venge or Puck?
You got to smirk like it's not going to be a Venge, like it's something interesting here that we haven't seen. I know Puck is probably like...
I'm smirking because Merlini's thinking really hard and you guys had the answer within half a second. It's absolutely Vengeful Spirit.
I was thinking between Venge and Puck, but we haven't seen too much Puck.
It's Venge by like a 30% margin. Lion is number 2 with 9, and then after that it goes down to Juggernaut, Disruptor, and things level out a little bit.
Venge is the whole package. I mean, there's no, it's not like surprising. I mean,
no, not at all.
You got your range stun. You got, even if she's taken down, she's got a great aura that scales fantastically also into the late game. Wave works beautifully. Minus armor synergies there. Works good with Roche. Even has a high ceiling that if for some reason she's able to bring in a wealth of farm, she can also deal some serious right clicks. So not really a surprise.
She's a very safe first pick. First phase pick, and you won't get punished for it. I think that's more so than a lot of the other reasons.
So the other hero I want to talk about a little bit that could possibly make a showing in this series, Venomancer. He's 3-3 in this tournament, actually 4-3 I think after that last series that hasn't been updated yet, but a very difficult hero to deal with. I was talking to the NIP team about it yesterday as they've been running a lot of Venomancer, and I asked them about a pipe, because that's something we brought up a lot. You know, Venomancer, he gets a fast Ags. Is the pipe even worth it to try to mitigate that damage? And they actually said no, it's just not worth the investment. The best way to deal with it is kite him, run away, don't get hit by the Poison Nova. If anything, BKB is a better tool than a pipe.
That just seems easier said than done. Just run away.
Well, absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. It's more just the point of that Veno is a very strong hero right now. I mean, they were very confident that Veno is undervalued by a lot of teams in this tournament.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah. So what would you say is the best way to deal with Veno if you let him get through?
Control him in lane, I feel like. Push his tower down.
Sort of like, it reminds me of Warlock a little bit, where it's like, well, once he gets Eggs Refresher, how do you deal with it? You don't. The answer is don't let him get Eggs Refresher before the game ends. And Veno feels like a sort of similar story. If he's able to get a reasonably timed Blink Eggs Veil, that becomes very difficult to deal with.
You need a lot of movement, because he's really strong if he has his wards placed, and you don't really want to fight around that. But if you can take fights around on the other side of the map, kind of like playing against an Omni Knight, then he becomes a lot less strong.
I feel like mobility heroes, like the Void you mentioned earlier, that hasn't been picked that much. Void, Blink heroes.
Nature's Prophet.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
You need heroes that aren't going to get too crippled by all his slows or get countered. Like Blink hero or Blink Dagger hero is not so good because you're going to get scouted by the Plague Wards. But if you've got an actual like Queen of Pain type hero that can actually engage on kill the Venomancer, Anti-Mage I feel is good because Venomancer doesn't pressure your lanes that hard. It's a very slow pressure. Like you have to keep defending against it because otherwise if you leave lane the tower will go down slowly. But I feel like anti-mage type drafts work well against the Venomancer.
Juggernaut also works well. Healing ward well.
Rubik too. Nullfield helps mitigate some of the damage. The Spell Steal give him a taste of their own medicine. Veno doesn't really like the taste of his own poison so much.
Certainly not.
All right, folks. We've got Game 1 of Na'Vi versus MVP Phoenix right around the corner. After this short break, Merlini and Godz going to take it away for our second best of 3. Stick around because a match is right around the corner.
Welcome back, ready to the Starladder Season 11 LAN Finals. I'm Godz, joining me is Merlini. It's time, Na'Vi versus MVP, Game 1 underway. Na'Vi, pretty heavy favorites it seems.
I'm going 2-0 Na'Vi. I've been wrong a lot, but this one I'm sticking by the books.
I'm going 2-1 Na'Vi. I'm not going to go the polar opposite. Generally, I just say, what Ben said, let's go the exact opposite, and it's worked out well.
Sometimes I'm trying to be hipster.
Yeah.
But
I mean...
it's boring always betting on the favorites.
It definitely feels like Na'Vi coming to this series should feel like this is their series to lose.
And they got the Wisp.
Yeah, MVP Phoenix, we'll see. It was yesterday where they were banning out the Tiny and saying, look, if you guys want Wisp, we can deal with Wisp.
I like the Brew ban a lot. I think that Brew and Warlock were equally important, but I think that Warlock's a lot easier to deal with if you don't have the Brew. Whereas Brew is still difficult to deal with if you don't have the Warlock.
The Warlock is just like guarantees that Brewmaster will always get a fist split, even without a BKB. You can have all the silences in the world, but that rock drop is just always there.
Ooh, the Axe first pick. That's unusual.
Well, they said they had something planned. Is this possibly the start of it? They also see a Disruptor ban. This suggests Na'Vi do want to be able to pick into a puck. Maybe not first 2, but Disruptor, one of those really pesky heroes for a puck to deal with. And
it's really pesky for EO to deal with, more importantly. And
yeah.
X Witch Doctor opener from Phoenix. Witch Doctor, this might be like a creep skipping lineup if they have a Warlock too.
I mean, do you feel like this could also be just Axe filling the place of the Brewmaster? Like, they're going to go for a Warlock type draft just with Axe instead of Brew?
It's a completely different. Okay. Completely different. That's not a substitute by any means. I think they might try an aggro against Na'Vi. With MVP's opener with the bans. They ban Mag, they ban Troll, and Na'Vi, they leave Wisp in the pool since they have first pick. I don't think the first pick EO came as any surprise. What other hero would they first pick? Aside from Mag Troll?
Yeah.
It is going to be the EO. So I think they had this in mind, and they're completely prepared for it. The problem is, what are they going to actually pair with?
Whoa, Legion?
Legion. Funnick plays
First
Legion
2?
a lot. They always combo out with the Wisp. They very rarely pick the LC without the Wisp. Well, so what this sets up for is in the mid to late game, or even like 12 minutes onwards to like 40 minutes, they just blink duel, EOTB's in, it's an easy kill. So no one can split push, and you can't do anything about it. You can't BKB it. I guess technically, you could Lincoln's it, but it's very difficult to stop, and no one is really
Stone gaze
safe.
it. Get a Medusa.
Stone gaze it. Yeah, they might actually Medusa on Na'Vi.
I see a tiny band out here. No, I feel like you don't even have to get like a really strong Wisp partner. They could just get like a standard Havost hero. They could go to the Gyrocopter we mentioned if MVP are going for push. Medusa, good pick as well. It doesn't have to be some kind of big Wisp, like CK type hero, tiny type hero to go with the Wisp necessarily.
CK would be decent. I think they want a hero with like some sort of magic damage, though. It's generally best when you're playing against an Axe to have someone that has a lot of magic damage, especially if they go for a heavy armor strat with Dazzle. But Dazzle will be banned out from Na'Vi. Warlock, that should almost always be second ban, I think, against Phoenix, regardless of what draft they open with.
If they want the Warlock, make him pick it in the first two and kind of cripple the rest of their draft by doing so. Is it possible we see something like a Dendi Invoker, like Sunstrikes to kind of synergize with the Jewel and the relocate ganks, or is that going to be something that gets too easily punished?
I don't think Invoker is that easily punished. I like the Invoker a lot from Dendi. I think it'd be good. It's really good.
A lot of magic damage as far as Axe in the front lines. I feel like having Exort Invoker with Forward Spirits, I mean, even a Quas-Wex Invoker wouldn't be too bad, but I think especially an Exort Invoker against Axe could be one way of dealing with the hero. Burst damage in general, you don't want to have to worry about him getting constantly healed up by a Witch Doctor or whoever else may be sitting behind him.
Especially with EO and Legion Commander, they don't really have that much team fight. Whereas MVP, they tend to draft very team fight heavy lineups, a lot of AoE stuns, and maybe something like a Tidehunter coming out in place of the Brew for them.
Yep. Are MVP worried about like an Abaddon pick here for Go Black, or is that do you not see that working with a Legion? I feel like it's less of a dual lane with a Legion commander than other lanes.
I'd be worried about a Omni Knight pick. GA just completely owns all their damage right now. Really good with LC.
Okay.
And Abaddon's okay, but he's melee. And I guess Omni Knight's melee too, but I think he's a lot more to offer versus an Axe and a Witch Doctor.
All right, well, Shadow Fiend gets banned out by MVP Phoenix. Haven't seen a Dendi SF in some time, but always something that is on the back burner for Na'Vi. And MVP now, well, not entirely sure what they want to go for with these next couple of picks. And they were very sure about this Axe opener, as it's not a Wisp counter by any means, but something that they feel they may have a strategy with. You mentioned the creep skipping, and I'm really curious to see if that's the case. They get the Viper, though. This is generally March's hero, and something MVP have played quite a lot with.
Yeah, Viper. Yeah, Viper and Veno, I think both underpicked this tournament. Viper I've seen, what, once maybe? I don't know. He has not been picked that often.
Yeah.
But he's really good versus a lot of early fighting. Good mech carrier. They have, I mean, naturally very tanky along with Axe. I mean, he can still get dueled and bursted down, but he will inflict a lot of damage in return. And, of course, great lane controller, so that Dendi or whomever gets matched up against a Viper does not snowball out of control.
It definitely limits the kind of heroes that Na'Vi can pick possibly for the mid lane. They can't get something that's going to get really crippled by a Viper.
They could dual lane mid very easily.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they have got the Wisp. It's just like a Havost PA type of game where you go like a Wisp PA, but the puck suggesting a Dendi puck going mid. We've seen a lot of pucks lose, generally off-lane pucks lose, and it is a safer time to be picking up. No Disruptor available. MVP still have a second support coming, so they could go for like a Skywrath type hero, but in general feels like a much safer game to go puck.
Yeah, Skywrath or Lion, but
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I like puck here. Very light on disable. Blink Call, I suppose, one of those few spells that can catch him out. Also good at decent at setting up for relocate ganks. So we have no idea what the Wisp partner is going to be. It still could be LC if Funnick doesn't want to play it. But as it's shaping up, looks like a support EO probably, I don't know. Is it going to be offlane LC and mid puck?
It could even be like a mid LC. Could be a LC can go any of the 3 lanes. I feel not really a Havost hero as far as
Dendi plays mid LC too.
Yeah, yeah. I think mid LC pretty strong. Oh, it could be like the Wisp with the LC in mid. Not exactly a high kill lane until you hit level 6, but I don't see that matching up great against Viper. MVP using a lot of their time, go for the Lion as their other support. So they want to have a hero that can deal with a potential puck, be it in the offlane or just in general in the mid game.
But they have a Legion commander to deal with the Lion. So I think the LC pickup was pretty good, especially with Disruptor banned out. LC not very good versus Disruptor, but yeah, the puck Lion is an interaction that we've seen a lot. And it looks like Na'Vi are prepared to handle it.
Yeah, MVP just kind of need their carry hero most likely last. The Ember Spirit still available if they want to go that for Q. Slark, he's probably most played hero.
Slark's difficult to play against an LC.
Yeah, Puck as well with a Blink Silence. This is not the easiest Slark game by any means.
Ember, I think, is still pretty good for them. It's a high mobility hero. It's a hero that isn't going to get called out by reload key ganks, decent lane presence. They have a lot of magic damage on Na'Vi, although it does, again, get shut down by LC.
All right, well, we'll see what Na'Vi have in mind. Neither team really showing what kind of true carry they want to go for, unless this is just going to become kind of like a carry LC or a safe lane Viper, which is still well possible, but both teams kind of trying to hide as far as their lanes what they're going to be doing. Go Black's 4th pick now, and MVP took a long time to think. If they had a prepared strategy, they definitely weren't entirely sure as what Na'Vi were going to be picking and had to kind of adapt as things went on.
This might be an LC partner because they don't really have that much damage to follow up after a duel, especially to...
There we go.
Yeah. So, LC Skyrath, classic combo that we've seen.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like if they don't go for that, they needed some kind of like carry, like an Invoker type here with Sunstrike to dump some damage with the LC.
And Venge completely ignored, which is a little strange. But MVP Phoenix, they let off with a Witch Doctor, and they wanted a hero with a better reliable disable versus the puck, not a projectile-based one. And it would have been really good versus the LC, though. The defensive swap against a duel is one of the best ways to counter that.
MVP probably one of the few teams who don't play much Venge. They focus much more on the teamfight supports, the Witch Doctor, the Disruptor, the Jakiro. So they don't actually go for that much Venge themselves. And Na'Vi, once they have the Wisp plus Venge, I feel is a pretty weak support duo, not to mention just... I feel like they prefer the Wisp to the Venge anyway, so... Could be a series where we see less Vengeful Spirit. That'd be a surprise. Anti-Mage banned out by MVP Phoenix, just wanting... They have some lockdown with Blink Call as well as the Lion, but they don't actually have much physical damage to follow that up.
Yeah, the anti-mage ban is a little strange. Okay, well, they ban out Kyo's Ember. Ember, I mean, after the Skyrath pick, it would be extremely difficult to play against. LC can own you, Puck and Skyrath can both, start off a really nice engage with those silences. So what do they want to go for QO here? Not too much time left. 4 in the bank for them.
It could even be like a farming axe if they want to do something really different. They play a lot of Doom if they want to try fit that into their lineup as one way of dealing with some of these more elusive heroes.
I think Doom is not very good versus Wisp, though.
5 seconds remaining.
Slack. So they're going to go with their own pick rather than try something completely new. It's the QO Slack most likely. They've run this on other players every now and then. I think it was Heen who played an offlane Slack on day 1, which they lost with, but this is probably going to be the safe lane QO Slack with Viper mid.
MVP Phoenix expecting a Havos hero last. So what are the ones that he likes? Gyro, Bristle. It could still be offlaner, though, or mid. We really have no clue coming out from Na'Vi since Dendi and Funnick play a lot of interchangeable heroes.
Yeah.
I would tend to say it is going to be a Havos hero, though.
I think so as well. There's a limited number left, though. You play a lot of Weaver. This is not looking like a good Weaver game. Weaver just not exactly...
it could even be something like a Sven. There's so many options available for Na'Vi right now. I don't think that it's necessarily has to be one of the classic Havos heroes.
All right, well, 10 seconds. Time dwindling. Na'Vi going through their options. Going to be the Bristleback. Havos. With the Wisp, this is a very beastly hard-to-kill hero.
Yeah, well, who did we see? I think they were playing VP Polar, maybe, and Havos went crazy on the Bristle. Or maybe it was actually VP Polar playing, but the Wisp Bristle is very, very scary.
Yeah.
They do have, I guess, some ways to deal with the Bristle. Axe Call, make them face you with, a Witch Doctor, or just kite them with Lion, but still, Wisp Bristle is going to be a problem.
All right, well, we can see Na'Vi and MVP Phoenix on the main stage. Go Black leading his team, telling him how their things are going to start off here. And looking at the drafts, Ben, do you feel either team has an edge, or is this...
I think Na'Vi simply because they have Wisp. I think Wisp, although MVP Phoenix beat it yesterday, it was more of a greedier Wisp draft, and this one I don't think is as greedy. And also MVP don't really have that big team fight that I foresaw them having.
Yeah, this is going to be a much scrappier game coming out from them. They're going to be looking for maybe pickoffs here and there with the Axe for Forev, but it seems much more farm-centric. They've got Slark on QO, doesn't like to fight too much early on. Actually looking like he may go mid here. So we'll introduce our Radiant side. MVP, the Korean squad, going to be running the Axe on Forev's hand. QO looks to be going mid on the Slark. We're going to have Heen on the Witch Doctor, March on the Viper, and that leaves Lion in the hands of Reason. For the Dire side, it's Na'Vi. The Ukrainian squad going to have Funnick on the Legion Commander. Vengskor playing the Wisp, or EO. Dendi going to be on the Puck at the mid lane. It'll be Go Black on the Scareth Mage, leaving Havost on the Bristleback up top.
Is it going to be a solo offlane Bristle? I think it's actually jungle sack. Or jungle sack Axe.
Looks like Funnick Legion is going to be going to the offlane here. So, Slark going mid. I guess they want to be able to completely zone out Funnick. They see him pick up the Legion Commander, and Viper, the probably better matchup as far as keeping him out of this lane. Bounty runes, here we go. Who's going to get those magic runes? And QO and Forev. This is a trio of heroes they don't really want to fight.
I don't think Ferreira is going to have that much luck. He only has 4 Tangos, and yeah, sure, he has a lot of physical damage mitigation with Stout and Wrinkle Protection, but he's versus a Skywrath. Skywrath doesn't have any clarities, but I think this should be easy peasy for them to zone him out.
Yeah, Vengskor even starting out at the top lane as well. Bounty Rune went, what, to Havost? Normally we see that level 1 Bounty Rune go the Wisp for that insta-bottle, but he'll have to wait a bit long. I guess Dendi won't be needing the Courier with his item build, going for the Null Talisman first, so Bottle won't come for a couple of minutes. I guess Forev probably more so than Funnick can fall back to the jungle, should his team give him some stacks there, and gets off a fantastic block here in the top lane. This is going to at least allow him to be close to his tower, and guess what? Backup's coming his way. Reason on the line is actually up here in a pseudo-dual lane.
He's taking a lot of harass, though.
They thought about it until they saw the Lion.
Axe is generally pretty good for those long, drawn-out fights, but, I mean, versus a Bristle, you can't really man up versus him like you would want to normally.
All right, well, Na'Vi going to miss that stack to start things off here. Getting those range creeps makes it the timing a bit different, and we'll see Tri-Lane versus Dueling up here. I feel like Lion and Axe have to play very cautiously and defensively, though.
Do you have game sounds?
I do have game sounds.
Are they really quiet?
Game sounds? Yeah,
mine's really
okay.
quiet.
I can hear them.
Mine are barely audible. Anyways.
I'm sorry. Condolences. Mid lane is going to be the QO Slack versus the Dendi Puck, and Dendi forced to actually bring out an extra salve for himself, wanting to maybe get a bit more aggressive as far as harass goes in this 1v1 matchup. Slack, expect him probably to struggle pretty bad against the Puck, even with a poor man's shield.
Shouldn't be that bad. I don't think that either side should be able to kill.
Yeah, I think more as far as CS goes, Dendi should have a bit of an edge here. Does similar base damage, I guess, at this stage, but Dendi just going full harass. He gets jumped here, forces out a defensive orb. QO. Double pounds and 1 point in the Essence Shift. There's your salve for Dendi. This did allow him to at least put himself in a position where he can trade blows a bit better with QO Slack. That's for bottom lane. Funnick getting a decent amount of XP. He's level 3. Similar story for Forever. Both offlaners having reached level 3. And mid lane, Lion smoked. He's looking for that bottle snipe, but the Courier's going top lane with Vengskor's bottle. Dendi yet to farm his. This bottle snipe timing is just not quite what it needs to be from Reason.
It actually works as a blessing in disguise that they let gave the rune to Bristleback early.
Yeah. I guess Dendi would still be farming his bottle anyways, but yeah, they're going to go in with a Hex here. Dendi going to get pounced up. The orb is maybe going to be just in time. Dendi gets out.
Wow. That was a really slow Dark Pact from QO. Because he has, what, the Hex, and then Hex is 2.5 seconds, and then he has the Impale. to time the Dark Pact. I don't think it would have killed him, but it would have been very, very close.
Reason wants round 2. Dandy's waiting here for his bottle. He may just go in for the kill here. Has to wait for the creep wave to go past so he doesn't show himself, but Dandy's bottle's kind of far away. This looks very dangerous for the Na'Vi solo mid player, but Reason not going to go in. Courier coming, it's a flying one, so nothing Reason can do about that. Dandy's mid lane, secure, or should be secure. He's bottling up, he's going to bottle Crow. Lion's even been pinged out here, so it doesn't look like Reason's going to be able to accomplish too much on this Lion.
Yep, almost full HP, and QO is actually waiting for his bottle and might be in a fair amount of trouble of his own.
Well,
Dandy going for the kill.
All going to be off point, and QO has to be very careful here. It's going to be 4 minutes soon. Top lane, first blood. Na'Vi dive the tower, get the kill with the Bristleback Wisp, and nothing Forov can do about that one.
Nice aggressive build coming out from Havos, picking up the goo at level 2 rather than the Bristleback, knowing that they can get a kill on him. And it looks like Godz trying to compete for the rune.
Reason may just want to take it. QO going to go pouncing there. Gets there in time, but doesn't have pounce now for this fight. So that's going to be the end of that. He'll go back towards the mid lane, QO, and continue battling it out with Dendi at mid. 19-10 CS to the 9-2 of Slug. Dendi crushing the CS here. Pounce going to miss as well. Uh-oh. Just looking for some casual harass there. Does have the regen rune, so he's quite happy just to do as much damage as he can. As long as he doesn't die here. Dendi goes in, Waning Rift, no orb for a couple of seconds. QO should be fine, and we'll pop the regen.
Lion doesn't have a lot of experience. He's wasted a lot of time trying to go for that chicken snipe, going for the failed kill attempt on Dendi, and of course securing that regeneration rune, and he needs to recuperate some levels. He does have a strength, so that's pretty good for him, but not even level 3 yet. On the side of Na'Vi, we actually do not see that many stacks out for the Wisp and the Skywrath combination, since they've been heavily focusing their efforts on killing the Axe.
Yeah. Well, they're getting to just the first blood alone for Havos has given him a very fast Vanguard, it looks like. As he picked up the Ring of Health, has 950 gold, so he's just going to be going man mode. This, like, what, 6-7 minute Vanguard could do some serious work for him.
Godz trying to run into these 2 supports.
He's got boots at least. 4Rev on the high ground, though, does have Tranquils, so his movement speed as well as Lions, both with Tranquils, pretty high. But they're going to get scattered out. More actually protects Dendi than anything in the end. They're going to go in mid lane. QO, Silence Up, doesn't get off the Dark Pact, and 1 orb from Dendi. He hits it. Another kill going the way of Na'Vi.
Wow, look at his experience. 575 out of 600 on the Slark. Unfortunate for him.
Well, he got Silence anyway, so probably wouldn't have made a difference.
He has nighttime vision. I think he could have seen the sky and been able to shadow dance out.
He probably, I guess once that coil gets thrown out, maybe should have just Dark Pacted instantly, but top lane, going to be seeing another dive here. Havos gets his 2nd kill of the game, but here comes the counter again. QO TP's in. Impale on 2. March is now showing up at the top lane. Wants Havos as well as the Wisp, and this is going to be 2 kills going the way of the MVP side. They strike back. TPs from both their mid lane and their safe lane, but important ones at that.
Still, Bristleback got another kill. Picked up some items before he died. Well on his way to working towards a Crimson Guard, or Vanguard as it looks.
Yeah, did go back for the treads before picking up the completed Vanguard.
See some bottle shenanigans in the mid lane. Vanscore filling up Dendi's as he TP's in.
All right. Dendi going to be looking to keep the pressure up on QO, who does now have his level 6 Shadow Dance.
Dendi's well on his way to Blink Dagger. 1,200 gold, doing fantastic in terms of farm. On the flip side, we have March, who is very, very farmed, picks up an Aquila rather than rushing the mech, but still looks like that mech is going to be very timely. Funnick finally gets a lot of room to breathe after 4 MVP heroes went to the top lane.
Yeah, looking at some of these hero levels, that's a big difference. Yeah, mid lane coil, and they burst him down inside the Shadow Dance. Axe, meanwhile, dying to neutrals. Uh-oh. He thought he had that Centaur Warrunner, but that's not the case. And MVP even smoked mid for this. They're now waiting around for someone to show up so they can actually use this smoke to some effect. And Hexen to Dendi. Dendi going to get impaled to fall this one up. The silence comes too late. Already, Lions used both his spells, and Dendi could be in a bit of trouble here. March with the Viper Strike will get the kill. March has been kind of the playmaker on this Viper, showing up at the right place at the right time to get his team on the board with 3 kills now.
Man, he was just a tiny bit too late on that Ancient Seal.
Yeah.
To stop that impale. Tiny bit.
Bottom rune going to spawn. Go Black going to get his hands on a bounty rune. He'd love to hit level 6 because Funnick's been level 6, now level 7 for some time. Has Jewel available, and they can't use it just yet to get any kills. But once Skyreth is level 6, there's a lot of kill potential between these two.
Godz scouted out by Heen on the bottom lane.
It's a TP from Lion. Lion seems to be everywhere on the map right now.
There's a haste on Slark.
Well, he's just going to be seeing top lane. He's alone for now, doesn't have a TP scroll, so maybe he's asking for some supports to start swinging top, but it's bottom lane where they want to fight. Skyreth halfway to level 6, but that's going to be at least a couple of creep waves before he can get that, or a kill.
Finally, some stacks being worked on by Na'Vi over here, trying to secure Van Score's level 6.
Not to mention Havos Vanguard. He's got 1,200 gold now, so probably going to see him purchase that one. QO will run into the Wisp Bristleback. Shouldn't be in any trouble here. As a pounce to the low ground, Haste Rune, Shadow Dance has a lot of escape tools. And Ancients now being stacked up by the Go Black Skyreth Mage. Coil at mid. March is the target they want. Doesn't have a mech yet. Has 10 stick charges though, and QO going to show up as well. They go and Go Black March. Damn tanky with 3 points of corrosive. This is not going to end well for the Na'Vi side. Dendy now 1 or 2 more right clicks will finish him off. He's trying to bottle up. He's trying to juke in the trees, but not going to work. QO's Haste Rune shows up. Meanwhile, bottom, it's 4 Rev. Going to get jeweled up underneath the tower with Havos here as well. This is a winner-winner chicken dinner. Funnick gets his first jewel damage of the game. But mid lane, that was disastrous for Na'Vi. What were they thinking going on the Viper there?
Well, they didn't expect him to come in with the haste over there. They got their mid ward dewarded, so they're actually severely lacking on vision. MVP supports have been doing a very good job of securing runes for QO, make him recover after the early 2 deaths. First tower of the game.
Yeah, it's March who's going to have a mech soon. He's leading the charge for this 5-man relocate mid. They're going to get the tower here. Can they get out, though? Havos, not the best chaser. He's got goo. He's got a lot of movement speed, but no proper lockdown here. And the bottom, oh, Lion TP'd out in front of the Puck and Legion commander there. No jewel available, and the relocate will send Wisp Bristleback back bottom.
They have to be very careful about their relocate positioning because of the paralyzing casks, and they went a little bit away, but it just wasn't close enough for them to commit MVP to a fight there.
Na'Vi, Funnick, and Go Black still looking to partner up a bit, but without the Mystic Flare is hard. Invis on Dendy, going to coil up March, who still doesn't have his complete mech. It's coming on the courier, though. This could arrive at a good time, but Na'Vi have already decided, let's get the hell out of here. Chaos going to catch Go Black, doesn't bounce, though. Pounce going to just fall short as well. MVP getting very close to getting some counter kills, and now with a mech on March, any ganks on him probably not going to happen anymore. And maybe with like a Skyreth ultimate and a coil and a jewel, like they're going to have to throw 3 ultimates just to maybe kill this Viper.
Great timed press the attack by Funnick. I think that actually saved Skyreth. He was about to get the pounce on him, but he took off the paralyzing cask stun. Well done.
All right, well, MVP looking for their Lion level 6. I feel like the Lion, the Skyreth, these level 6s is when there's probably going to see some smoke gank start happening as the kill potential then increases a lot.
Dendy was so close to his blink. He was at like 1,100 gold like 4 minutes ago. Now he's at 1,200 after those 2 deaths.
Well, he's now going to take over the top lane, try to get some farm up there, and he's at the same farm as the Axe as far as getting blink up at a decent time. 4F with 1,200 gold himself. So Dendy's ability to control this game as early as possible, somewhat being diminished here. Havoso is doing fantastic. He's 3-1. He's got himself up to 6.5k net worth. And
completed Crimson Guard 12 minutes into the game. That is damn scary. MVP even had eyes on that Ancient stack, but they can't really contest it. Who's going to take it out?
Who's going to fight into Havos with a Wisp backing him up? Havos now 1,400 HP. There's your Crimson Guard, so Bristleback is a problem. Not someone you want to be fighting into right now.
Raisin is level 5. He was smoked up. It will get revealed. Nope. Funnick pretty close to his Blink Dagger as well. Dendy and Funnick almost neck and neck in terms of gold.
And Skyreth has level 6. Oh, top lane 4F being pinged out. The Dream Call and a relocate. 4 of his TP is going to be fast. He's going to get out of there. Nothing to cancel it once that coil gets used. I think they just need to relocate.
They're waiting on bottom for him.
Oh, Funnick's hiding in the trees, so he's going to actually TP out. This is going to be a dead Wisp. Vengscore, no, nothing much he can do about this. Buys his boots. Doesn't lose any money, but it's still an easy kill for MVP. This is not going as smoothly as Na'Vi would have hoped from their start. QO now with a Midas purchase, 12.5 minutes in, but generally what he likes to do, focus more on farming. Dendy at top, low on mana, and he's going to get zoned all the way back to base at this rate.
And Axe making decent recovery as well. He's 0, 4, and 2, but he's still getting his Blink Dagger probably around the same time that Puck and LC are. So his score is a little bit deceptive into how well his farm's coming along.
These towers are helping. The tier 1 mid are now looking like a possible tier 1 bottom tower on top of that, so...
Funnick almost gets a duel on Slark.
Well, Slark going to now show up at the mid lane. Another rune in hand. QO's been getting constant rune, and not just these kind of, not so high impact bounty runes. He's getting haste runes, he's getting DD runes. Runes which can allow him to have a big impact should a fight break out. And this tower at bottom lane, that gets Axe up to 2k gold. His Blink not far off now. He's going to get there before Dendy even.
Kyo has been scouted out. He is eyeing Goblack, knowing that he's an easy kill with his DD rune.
Goblack ain't having any of that, though.
Another smoke pop by MVP.
Well, they're kind of near this dire wall, which is actually at the Roshan pit, as Kyo will reveal himself to go pick up the bounty rune. But his smoked up teammate's going to run right into Goblack Skywrath Mage, and he's still farming here. He's waited. He's overstayed his welcome. He's got to find a way out of this one. Concussive Shot will slow him down enough, so... They do get out of there, and here comes Havos. Crimson Guard in hand. He wants to fight. Impale is going to just maybe set up the retreat here. QO goes in. Dark Pact off the silence. Goblack gets off the Mystic Flare, but QO still very healthy in Shadow Dance. Does not want to fight into the Quill Spray, though. Havos, his Crimson Guard, going to help keep him alive. Relocate out defensively. I think Havos was fine there, but a very defensive play, and this could just be a dead wisp. We'll see if he brings back Havos with him. It looks like fight is maybe going to happen. Dendy's nearby. Yep, they'll bring in Havos. Dendy is there, but it's a 2-hero impale. They kill up the Wisp instantly. Havos is the next side. Cast bouncing between two. Dendy can't get rid of it. He goes down to the finger of death. Oh no! Havos, the slows are going to keep going. He needs to fight. March can't sustain himself against the Quills plays there. Legion going to get a nice 3-hero nuke off, and now Funnick is the new target. Havos, the Quills keep on stacking. March wants the career, but he loses vision over the trees. Havos now, he needs to turn his back. He can't fight these heroes. The axe will bring him down with the chop. 2 kills go the way of 4 of Zax, and what a fight for MVP Phoenix.
What was the deal with that relocate out?
That was not... You wait until Havos is red HP at least. Goblack now dead as well. Chop number 3, 4 with a triple kill. Havos was like 3/4 HP when he did that defensive relocate. Really questionable relocate from Vengscore.
Yeah, and then that bought all the time they needed for all the Quill Spray stacks to fall off. And Dendy, again, so close to his Blink Dagger, but can't farm it. 1,800 gold.
Well, we see almost a 5,000 net worth swing on the gold graph after that fight. Na'Vi haven't had a kill since like the 9-minute mark. It's been all MVP, just winning fight after fight, clash after clash, and well, they've got a lot of good items to show for it. March picks up a point booster, going to be going straight into that Ag Scepter. Point booster on 4F. This Axe was struggling to get any farm earlier. He was 0 and 4. And now here he is, Blink, point booster, looking like one of the kind of top farmers. That's right, he's out-farming Dendy, he's out-farming Funnick on that Legion Commander as well. So, game 1 looking very good for MVP Phoenix.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Once Dendy gets his Blink, should be a little bit easier for them. Hopefully they can get someone sort of initiates on Slark. But speaking of Slark, another tower in his pocket. Number 3 in terms of net worth, recovering quite nicely.
I feel like if Dendy had his Blink for that relocate back, he can get the Blink silence on the Lion, and then there's no 2-hero impale. That 2-hero impale just
they're going for
was what kind of wrecked them.
Uh-oh. March is, I don't think he's afraid to just walk in there.
Yeah, Havos is a bit of a problem. They're actually going to go on March with the dual Mystic Flare and everything. Maybe you should have been afraid, Ben. Is this a buyback moment? Do they look to contest the Roshan or just give it up? QO wants to go in as well. Wants Vengscore on the Wisp. He's going to tether over the cliff. QO forced to Shadow Dance very defensively. Axe, meanwhile, gets the Wisp on the side. They're looking to go back in. They want to take this fight. They use everything in the arsenal to bring down the Viper. Witch Doctor with the ulti from the high ground will not do that much damage to Funnick. He's down on half HP. He's bottling up, so he can keep on fighting. But Roshan is over. No Wisp alive, and they don't feel confident to keep on going for it.
Still great fight by them. March did not actually have vision, I believe.
He went in pretty blind there. QO, what's he going to be thinking of purchasing here? Blink Dagger on Dendy. That was the big item Na'Vi were waiting for. I think QO bought a Blink and then sold it, maybe thinking he's going to go Shadowblade. Nope, he gets the Blink once more. Probably consulted with his team. Do I Blink? Do I Shadowblade? What do we think, guys?
They've been doing a really good job of controlling the Wisp in all these fights. Some of it just Vanscore having to preemptively use all his defensive cooldowns just because he's so scared of getting blown up by a Finger, by the Slark, by the Blink Calling Axe, who just cooled him in the face.
Bottom lane, Reason has an Invis room, wants Havos. There is a Vangscore Wisp nearby, and that's kind of who you have to try and scout out if you're Reason here. Does have the Finger. And they're going to make their way back towards this middle lane and possibly go for a smoke here, which is sitting on your Skywrath Mage. But once again, Reason scouting a lot with this Invis rune. He's going to see Go Black.
They have a great Observer ward over here. They're a high ground ward that got dewarded, but then they press it up a little bit more. So Funnick trying to get his own farm in the side lane. Guess what, Blade Mail is pretty good here for him, but that's going to be quite some time for them to farm up. And MVP, they don't really want to split up because that's what Na'Vi want them to do.
No, Coil mid here. QO going to get stunned up. Needs to Shadow Dance. Doesn't have mana for it. He was on 118 mana when he died. He pounced out of the coil, got stunned, and the relocate was placed perfectly by Vangscore. Nice kill going Na'Vi's way, and now maybe they look to go into the Roshan pit, or possibly looking for more action in the bottom lane. Go Black, gonna ward, get some good vision here. I think this ward was spotted. They ping it out, say, look, Na'Vi see us. This is a dangerous spot to be in.
Havos not scared.
Yeah, he can just go running in if he wants to. That's the Havos way.
Still big kill on the Slark right there. Oh, they smoke up behind. They're actually going to wrap around. I don't know if it was actually scouted out. I do not think so.
No, doesn't look like it. They do have the high ground advantage, and Forab will reveal the smoke from his spot here. It's going to be the Witch Doctor who gets caught out, though. The Puck Orb goes through and catches some more. Forab blinked to the trees. He gets scouted now by the Wisp Balls. Dual damage going to be going the way of Funnick, or is it Forab still alive for a bit longer? Winner, winner. EO kills the Axe here, and the chase is on. They want more. They want mass. They want to go diving. It's Havos leading the charge here, but the Wisp on the backlines. Vangscore in trouble. The Shadow Dancing QO going to get one with the help of the Lion. He wants more. He wants to go for that Vangscore, but he cannot fight Havos. He can't get past him to get to the Skywrath Mage, and we'll see March now leading the charge here. On that Viper here, it's Havos getting in a bit of a predicament here. Doesn't have the Wisp to back him up, but does have the Legion Commander. Press the attack. Going to help give him a bit of rejuvenation, and 1-for-1 trade so far here as MVP will bring out the Sentry Ward to deward that freshly planted Na'Vi Observer Ward.
Na'Vi really want to control this side of the map. They want to take out that T1 and sneak in Roche whenever possible while split pushing with a Wisp, but that is just not possible at this point in time, and Kyo has an easy job of just sniping these weak supports. Skywrath and Neo can't really cope with this Slark, especially when Duel had already been used.
Well, Kuro now, once he starts picking up some actual stat items, get his Skadi or his BKB, whatever it may be, is going to suddenly be a lot scary in these fights. Right now he matches up great against the supports, but he needs like the next big item to be able to fight the Bristleback, to be able to fight the Legion Commander without just getting torn apart.
They're expecting a Roche soon. I keep seeing MVP pinging out, but at the same time they really want to split push out their lanes.
They've got very little vision on the dire side of the map here. They see Bristleback bottom, but their wards right now are non-existent. Just Dendy at mid who they see. Lion with a Blink Dagger, though. They can Blink Hex and look to bring down Dendy, should they be able to catch up to him. QO, though, we've seen this one before, playing very aggressive in the mid lane, and Dendy will lead with a coil and try to bring him down, or a Blink Silence, potentially. That's for bottom lane. Bristleback, as per usual, backed up by Vangscore, hiding in the trees with that relocate ready.
They see Hero.
Oh, Blink Cole catches out two with an Impale. The Blink Silence from Dendy isn't in time. Oh no, Funnick now in trouble. The cask is still bouncing around. Dendy to Havos to Dendy. The chop gonna miss. Dendy keeps himself alive for a little bit longer. Vangscore with a relocate out in 3 seconds. Dendy's dead. Vangscore died a second before he relocates out, and now Havos left alone. He's got no way out. Forum's gonna call. He's gonna turn him around. Says Bristleback, who we're gonna hit you from the front. And that is a 5-man team wipe going MVP's way. That call from Forev into a 2-hero Impale. Dendy just couldn't get there in time with that silence.
Man, what a huge play by MVP. They've been doing such a good job of controlling Navi's vision and taking these great engages where Navi always seem to be caught off guard.
They're baiting with QO so well. QO's like kind of off in these awkward positions, but he's got the axe, he's got the lion. Reason's hit incredible Impales this game. He's 1-0 and 12, and he has made some plays happen with these multi-hero Impales. Roshan not going to happen, though. They've not got a good Roche lineup.
Yeah, MVP are really close to running away with the game. They win one more team fight and sweep Roshan, but Na'Vi still have a lot of fight left in them. And the way the game's going, Slark is he is getting out of control. 3,100 gold. He could easily pick up a BKB and just make life pretty darn easy for himself.
With a BKB, it's like guaranteed kills on Skywrath, and just you don't have to worry about a puck blink silence. Definitely, it guarantees turning that fight into a quick 4v5 if you can get one or two of the supports. But
5-man smoke.
Well, Na'Vi possibly thinking they need to make something big happen. Look at these drawings on the minimap. It seems MVP are saying they're near the Ancients or possibly at Roshan. They're drawing these little
they have no
on the
sentry wards. That's very unfortunate for them. They saw QO and he went to go get a rune, but it was scouted out.
Well, QO going to come back towards the mid lane and push things out once more. This time he hasn't got good backup, but Na'Vi have already started working on Roshan. Forev going to blink in. Havaz gets bashed by Roshan. His Blade Mail onto Forev. The tether slow going to help things out here. May just need to see a relocate out. Yep, relocates out of there, but Wisp will be coming back soon. Onto that high ground. Here come Na'Vi leading the charge, but they're onto March here, who's one of the tankier of the MVP heroes. They're going to look to commit to this one. It seems March is going to go for the TP out. Forev kind of stuck in an awkward spot as well. March gets out of there. Forev now left without his Viper backing him up. They killed the Slack to start things off, and as a result, MVP, not a fight they can take. Na'Vi get two. They're looking for more in the bottom lane. Dendi gets fingered with a Maledict Witch Doctor ultimate. Dendi's dead. Funny can't do anything about it. Blink out from Lion. Reason's still alive. It's a 3-for-1 trade. Dendi even going to buy back for this, and Reason in a bit of a tough spot here, but he gets the Hex onto Funnick. Trying to just cancel his Blink now. He's going to have a Blink up in a second or two. Reason takes damage from the Legion nuke. Now the puck auto attack, the Blink forward, and this looks like a dead Lion. As Na'Vi get a 4-for-1 trade and possibly a Roshan to follow, but this is pretty fast on the respawns for MVP.
That was great play by Na'Vi. So they had a couple of heroes over here, and then they had 3 heroes over to the top left, and they actually picked off QO while the relocate was going off and MVP was committed into the pit. They used the Blink duel, and I'm very surprised that Stark didn't buy back for that fight. Dendi bought back, and the fight was almost over by that point because they know how important this Roshan is to the momentum of the game.
Yeah, it's the one thing which it feels like can give Na'Vi a good amount of control. They can start taking objectives themselves. Havas doesn't have to worry about having the Wisp backup even. He can just go in the front lines, and Wisp can play a lot safer and more defensively when Havas has an Aegis.
What is QO going to buy? He's been sitting on this massive pile of gold.
He needs to spend it. If it's a BKB, well, I guess he's a little short, but...
You could even get Lincoln's versus duel.
3.9k now.
I think that's the only thing that kills him, is duel.
I guess if Puck gets you with a Blink Silence, but we've seen the Axe and the Lion kind of in good spots to back up the Slack more times than not. 4k gold now on QO. I mean, a BKB Link, it's going 2 defensive items here. Sure, it sounds questionable, but it's not like Na'Vi have the best late game. He'll do enough damage just from the Essence Shift procs.
Yeah, he could get Scotty and tank up. But that really depends on them being able to disable the Legion Commander. With the Blade Mail, I think BKB is almost imperative.
All right, we'll see what MVP look to do here. They are not even going to finish off this Ancient here. Not sure what that was about.
Here they are. Bottom lane. Oh, so close. They even relocated because they thought that Funnick was going to get it.
Not going to work here. The relocate coming back mid lane. MVP are pinging it. They know what's happening here. They've got 4 heroes, no Axe though, but they want to fight here. Q are going to lead with the Dark Pack. Perfectly timed. Vengscore tries to tether out. The Viper Strike is there though. Trying to bottle up. Looks like it's going to be a kill. Just barely. The last tick of the Viper Strike brings him down, but Na'Vi get the bottom tier 1.
He didn't overcharge it. I think he would have survived if he had overcharged it.
He has level 4 overcharge even.
Oh.
MVP give up their bottom tier 1, but they're looking to take something bigger and more precious. The tier 2 mid tower of Na'Vi.
And it's 2 ultimate orbs coming out for Slark. Okay. No BKB.
So does decide that it will be a Skadi game.
I mean, if he can survive the duel, that's huge. BKB allows him to just pick off the supports instantly, but having the Scotty makes it, I think, a little bit easier to kite the Bristle, a little bit easier to survive the Legion Commander ultimate if you aren't able to pop your BKB in time. So it's just, I don't know, they're both pretty safe items.
Well, Q are going to leave that Curie at the secret shop, wait this one out to get that Skadi up. As for Na'Vi, Dendi position near top, level 15 on him. He's going to be building towards a Yule Scepter, which he's actually completed, so. Another way of kind of countering some of these pesky blink daggers on the Radiant side, but no like silencers or anything to get out of as far as the Yules is concerned. Just wanting that extra bit of mobility and survivability as well.
It's good at counter-initiating an X.
Well, Na'Vi going to be postured on the high ground. This is a great spot to be in if MVP are looking to smoke up or try and move onto the other side of the map. And they also see everything going on. So Sentry Ward gets deployed, instantly dewarded, and Na'Vi continue to posture pretty defensively. They've got the Aegis. Do you feel like they should be getting more aggressive on the map, or is this kind of just all they can do right now?
It's risky. QO is fat. Oh, they smoke.
Yeah, they just dewarded too, so this does not get spotted. And QO walks right into the Skywrath Mage. Goblik in a lot of trouble here. The Shadow Dance being used, and 4Rev gets the dunk. Just a Skywrath kill. They'd love to get this Wisp or Bristle back, and I think they saw them. They're Observer Ward at that top river. They know what's going on here. They want to dive this tower. Here comes 4Rev with a blink in 1 second. March, ooh, cancels the Viper Strike. Vengsor was just hiding off behind the T2 tower, and well, they draw a little arrow on the map. They say, this way, we push this way. This is where we're going.
It's risky to fight into the Aegis. I think if they didn't have Aegis, they could have picked off the Wisp and then continued and just like Hex and kite the Bristle back, but
yeah,
really difficult with that.
If they saw the Wisp, probably go on him, but they weren't quite sure where he was positioned.
Bad time for Na'Vi to take a fight. It's nighttime, and Slark's almost always going to be able to get the jump or Axe.
I don't really feel like MVP can push too well, though. They were kind of drawing lines like they want to push this top lane, but it feels like this may just be the start of the game where you start looking just to play a bit more passively, get QO another item or two, get your Witch Doctor, Ag Scepter, get Viper, his next big item, which looks to be an Assault Caress, so items are going to be coming both teams' way, and as far as late game goes, do you give either team an edge here? Oh, blink call, Vengsor actually going to get caught out. Hold that thought. As the Lion follows up with a finger. There's your dunk. 4Rev, though, gets jeweled. Going to be seeing a counter kill come out if they can kill him fast enough. The jewel damage is not going to be acquired by Funnick, though. Reason now looking to TP out. Havos, though, right-click and too damn hard with plus 190 damage. We'll get caught in a pounce here. Havos still has Aegis, though, so they've got to kill him twice. Uh-oh.
He needs to die.
1-0. It's gone. Now they can kill him. This is the perfect timing. Doesn't even get the regen from the Aegis. He goes down at the perfect time. Oh, no.
He popped his BKB early. I don't think he needed to pop it with his Aegis still
Yeah. Better just to die that first time and then have the BKB for the second life.
Very unfortunate for them.
And suddenly that's a tier 2 tower. They only kill an Axe and a Lion. The Lion, a support, and the Axe at this point just kind of that initiator. The Viper and the Slark are the two big carries of this team. Well, things not going as great as Na'Vi would hope for here in Game 1 against the Korean MVP Phoenix squad. It's only a 3,000 to 4,000 net worth lead, but towers being taken in succession from the MVP side.
The dual usage is very tough for Funnick because he wants to kill people at the start of the fight to make the numbers on their side, but at the same time, if they don't use it on Slark, they still don't have a great way to control him. If they don't have that duel up, he just steals a ton of stats away from the Bristleback, away from these other heroes on the front line, and just goes crazy on his supports. So, I mean, there's two main heroes that they have to deal with, the Axe and the Slark, and on top of that, the Viper, who's almost never going to die in these fights. 1850 HP on March.
Yeah, another almost blink duel coming out onto the Slark, but QO's been so fast with the pounces, the shadow dances, these escapes, and he now picks up a gem. He purchases. QO's going to just go around the map looking to deward with this. He has a pretty good idea where they are, blinks up, needs to get out, pounces away, worried about that Funnick initiation.
Wow, if he got dueled right there, oh my god, that would have been so bad.
That would have been game-changing. I like the gem purchase, though. QO has such an easy way to just track down those wards using that ultimate. They have a big Slark problem here. Catching him with a duel, as you said, it seems like they need to duel him, but finding him has not proven to be very easy.
Yeah, he doesn't have BKB, so he's still somewhat vulnerable, but he's going to have that very, very soon. One more Midas use and one more minute, and there you go.
All right. Well, Na'Vi maybe deciding they need to get some more farm themselves. Havos has picked up a Belt of Giant Strength, so he seems to be looking to go for a Basher into Abyssal Blade type build. Needing some extra lockdown and some way of actually being able to kind of man up and fight the Slark a bit better. And the fact that he's as tanky as he is, it's nice, but it also works against him. QO just gets so many Essence Shift charges in the team fight. He picks up his support, then he just starts right-clicking Havosam. Even if he doesn't kill him, it just makes him so beefy and just so brutal in these fights with how much damage he can do once he gets those Essence Shift procs.
I mean, all these heroes are really beefy. We talk about Axe with 18 armor without the Berserker's Call. He has a Scepter on top of that, so he has 1,800 HP. Viper has 1,870 HP. He has 30 armor with an AC complete and an Axe to prevent so much damage from the Bristleback. And then on top of that, you have the Slark. So, I mean, too many heroes are farmed on the side of MVP, whereas Na'Vi, we're just talking about a Bristle. Poor Bristle can't do anything on his own.
Kyo doesn't see the Legion Commander on the map, and Legion Commander is back in that dire base. That's the one hero he's always wary of, is where is that Legion? Where is that Blink Jewel? Top lane, though, 4F going to TP and doesn't have a Blink for a couple of seconds. Havos now maybe in some trouble here. Relocate not being used yet. They want to bring down the Wisp first, and this could strand Havos. He's got no TP. He was relying on the Wisp as his escape mechanic. And they're going to look to chase him down. Havos has pretty high movement speed, but 4F says, I've got more. He's going to turn BKB, QO, going to hit him from the front. Here comes Funnick with a Jewel. He's going to use on 4F, though. They've got nothing for the Slark. Slark just assaulting the Na'Vi side. Dendi goes in, will not get hit by the pounce. That'll save his life, potentially. Blink forward from QO, wanted the pounce onto the Bristleback, but the Yule Scepter will prevent it. On the sidelines, though, Skyrath caught out by the Lion. Not sure what happened to him, but it was not a friendly hello from the MVP side. It's a 3-for-1 trade in their favor. QO still going mid. He's got 16 Essence Shift charges already and looking to acquire even more as he just fights Havos constantly in these clashes.
Great ult by Slark there. LC blinked in and Slark was Shadow Dance, so he had to go for the Axe there. I don't even think he would have lived if he had gone for the Slark. But nice for him. Saved Havos' life, got some dual damage, and wow, Slark is getting fat. Super fat.
Yeah, he purchased a Basher himself, so we'll be going for the Abyssal Blade. Extra lockdown, a way of actually maybe killing off Dendi as well, if you can get a Blink Abyssal Blade off.
It's not looking good for Na'Vi.
No, it's not.
Seems like Havos +4 at this point. I mean, Dendi's farmed and all, but he can't actually do that much in the fights. Like, if he gets
they got the Jewel after the pounce. QO at bottom lane, though. Relocate in, and he's going to get brought down. Drops a gem as well.
Oh, that's so big for them.
That was like the pounce and the Jewel cast at the exact same time. QO is probably like saying, what just happened? Dota 2, please, I pounced.
That is completely game-changing, and why LC is just so darn good versus Slark. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it, and you always want to be able to split push.
Roshan secured and everything. Are they going to buy back Slark? He does do so. Buys back. They want to contest this one. Jewel on cooldown for 15 more seconds. They drop a Sentry Ward as well. Here we go. 4F blinks in with a call onto Havos, but Havos with the Wisp backup is pretty damn tanky. Dendi now going to go in. Reason still looking for that Finger of Death target. It's going to be a Skyrath Mage falling to start things off. The Witch Doctor ultimate not doing too much. Havos now on the run. Gets hit by the call. 4F though pulling Havos away. They need to hit him from the front. Havos now completely stranded. The Wisp getting zoned out by 4F's Axe. He just blinks past Havos and forces the Wisp away, and now it looks like Roshan will be secured by the Radiant side. Gem still on the Na'Vi squad, but losing Roshan here is painful stuff for Na'Vi to see.
Man, that was a completely whiffed Skyrath ult. Unfortunate for Goblock there.
Well, QO, I imagine the one taking the Aegis, is the case. Create a lot of space and put a lot of pressure on this Na'Vi side, but you look at the rest of what his team's done. The Viper is huge as well. Aghanim Scepter with Assault Crest, 8-1 and 15. March has been the quiet kind of savior of this team. In the early game, he was the one TPing to the lanes when they were getting destroyed in both mid and top. So all across the board, MVP have stepped up their game, it feels like. It's no longer just about QO like it was on day one with his Ember Spirit and the rest of his team just not really offering enough.
And Bristleback can't do that much. Wisp can't stay in the fight, so he doesn't have the overcharge, he doesn't have the heal, he doesn't have the mana, which is actually a kind of big deal because Raisin keeps mana draining him. And his BKB doesn't do that much either. There's a bash up on Slark, still going to get right-click by him, as well as the call from the Axe, and of course the constant Viper strikes from Viper and the Witch Doctor ultimate. There's so many things that he has to deal with, and he doesn't actually have that much armor. He needs an AC of his own, he needs more items, he needs Funix to start doing some heavy lifting too.
Go Black going to get somewhat caught out by 4F, but does go for the concussive shot and will probably look for a TP out. This 4F, ooh, not going to get the call.
Funnick goes in.
Well, March is a target with a relocate gank. They should be able to kill off the Viper here, even with the Assault Crest. QO shows up, wants Vengtor in return, but he gets Hex. Dendi has found Decisive Vice. He did not see that one coming. That came out of nowhere. Forev gets a blink call onto two heroes, so QO blinks in as well. It's a dead Skyreth. Legion acts with the double dunk. They want more. They want Dendi, but he's going to not join himself out. He actually blinks to the side, and suddenly high ground being sieged here. Navi's going to go in. They're going to get Vanks got blinked on here. QO shows up as well. That's a dead Wisp with no buyback as well. QO in Shadow Dance here wants to be a little bit careful. Dendi's Hex, though, still cooling down for another couple of seconds. Havas wants to fight. Need to time the Hex around that Dark Pact. Can they fight this one? They've got 3 long respawns, Na'Vi. No one with buyback. This may just be mid-racks. They don't really have the damage between Dendi and Havas. Havas can maybe look to just go bait in the front lines, but this looks like first lane of racks going the way of MVP.
Yeah, they can't fight this. Not without those other 2 heroes. Skywrath kind of unimportant, but the other 2 certainly are.
MVP swing bottom. They want to keep on fighting. They do have to worry a little bit about this Blink Hex initiation from Dendi. QO, though, 4k gold, does have some room for error, although the buyback is on cooldown here. That's the risk here. The Blink Slack pounds. Actually hits Go Black. He misses Dendi, but he finds a freebie behind that. QO taking heavy damage here, but he's still going to be alive here. He's just fine. 5 seconds till he has a Shadow Dance. Havas down the front lines. He's going to look for an escape here. May need to relocate. Where is it, Vangscore? Havas is in trouble. You've got to relocate him out. There's your teleport to safety just in time, but the Witch Doctor ultimate still going through. Brings down the Legion, who only gets a Lion in exchange. Buyback from Funnick now. This is the last effort from Na'Vi. If they don't win this fight here, they're in trouble, and they've already lost 4 racks, so even if they win it, they're in trouble. Escape now is the name of the game. MVP say, we've taken 3 racks. Let's just get out. Let's just cut our losses here. They may be forced to fight, though. March going to turn around and look to bring down Vangscore once more. The cast bouncing a little bit here. Coil going to catch just QO. And Vangscore the Wisp once more brought down. Havas in the front lines. Viper Strike constantly. He's just getting kited around. Can't even fight into this MVP squad. March is just too much of a beast. He gets the kill. Goes down himself, though. A 1-for-1 trade. Havas doesn't want to buy back right now. He wants to keep on. He wants to hold on to it, but he's going to be forced to use it now. Dendi shows up. Blink Yules is too late. The chop was already there on a dieback for Funnick. They want Forev now with the Havas buying back. They've got to get some kills off of this. QO going to be forced to pounce out. This is your time to buy that Abyssal Blade. He's got no buyback, 6k gold, doesn't make a pit stop at the secret shop. He wants to run. 3 Na'Vi heroes in hot pursuit.
Brutal exchange for Na'Vi. They really wanted to save any of their melee racks, but 2 of them already sweat, and yeah, the Slark problem is a really big problem. 6,400 gold.
If he wants maybe even a Lincoln's over the Abyss, like you get the Abyssal later, but Lincoln's deal with the Jewel, and then what kills him? It doesn't feel like it also deals with the Hex.
I don't even think a duel kills him anymore.
That's the. I guess there's the Hex and the Jewel now, and that's where a Lincoln Sphere could be even better for him. But for
they
now,
don't have
it's
enough
going to be
damage.
the Abyssal.
LC doesn't have BKB.
Skyreth ultimate just isn't doing that much anymore.
Yeah.
Skyreth is just dying instantly every fight.
And Bristle just gets kited.
Bristle needs this Abyssal Blade ASAP. There's no more saving for buybacks if you're Na'Vi. Dendi's working on an Ag Scepter. Havas about 1k gold away from that Abyssal Blade. And QO, well, he's going to be going into this enemy jungle. Go Black is there waiting for him, but he goes actually to the high ground here. It's going to be Dendi he wants. Dendi he can't get, though, or at least it doesn't look that way. QO, Abyssal Blade still in hand. He's going to see Go Black now Dark Pact off the slow, and Go Black not getting out of this one. He doesn't want to use the Abyssal. He's going to have to. Did not get any good bashes. Dendi, meanwhile, kills off the Lion, who was swooping in. QO's like, where was my RNG there? I hit 3 right clicks without a bash, and he had to use the Abyssal cooldown.
That's an Ags on the Witch Doctor.
And Lion. Lion picked his up a couple minutes ago.
Uh-oh. That's trouble for the puck. 1,800 HP. He's pretty beefy, though. He has his point booster. He has a lot of farm, but it's just a lot of disables. And still, I don't think that Bristle can do enough damage here. He only has a 5-second BKB, and aside from that, there's the Axe Call. There's a Lion. I mean, there's so many spells that can just control him because they don't have to worry about the LC really at all.
Yeah, Funnick will have a BKB, hopefully, for the next fight. He's trying to farm it here at the bottom lane, up to 1k gold. That's for MVP there, but we're waiting for this Lion buyback. And with bottom lane of racks taken, or at least the melee racks, they can just focus most of their efforts on top. Wait for that Roshan respawn if they want, which is going to be at least 2 minutes. Top lane, they blink in. Forev gets the call on Havas. They want to bring him down. Wisp is nearby. Relocate backwards. They now know exactly where this Wisp is coming in, though, and that's, well, possibly a free kill, or you force Na'Vi to fight. Lion is still pretty far away. This could be a 5v4, at least at the start. QO, Dark Pact not on point, but Vangscore will get the tether out.
Na'Vi hanging by a thread in this game. 16,000 gold lead for MVP.
Oh, once again, Havos gets pulled. He gets pulled out of the base too. They know there's no relocate from the Wisp. QO going to go pouncing in. Doesn't hit because of the BKB. Now maybe going to look for that Abyssal Blade, but Shadow Dance being used and not exactly the best initiation. This is a better one. Forev gets the blink call onto Havos, getting one small pullback in. QO goes onto Funnick with the Abyssal Finger. Funnick taking another fight. He's got no buyback. Havos without BKB in trouble. Witch Doctor with the Aghanim's ultimate. It's bouncing. Finally gets dealt with. Forev though. Blade Mail up in the front lines. 2 Na'Vi heroes dead. Make it 3. There's your chop. Forev now looking for Dendi. Can he TP out? You betcha, but there's a blink. There's a call. Dendi now dead as well. That's 4 Na'Vi heroes on the sideline. Slark gonna buy back, and it's GG in game 1. MVP upset the Ukrainian All-Star team.
They made it too easy. I think actually Vanscore played very poorly this game. That one relocate out just completely destroyed them. And QO got so fat off of that 4-for-1 exchange. And it is a difficult game for Na'Vi, and MVP clearly weren't scared of it, or else they would have banned out the Wisp in the first phase. But yeah, they seem very unfazed.
It definitely feels like not a drafting loss. I would even go far. I don't think Dendi played very well on the puck. He got that really good early start, but then his blink came so late. He ended up getting it slower than the Axe even. So across the board, I don't feel like anyone on Na'Vi. I think Funnick as well as Havos played pretty well, but the other 3 just didn't bring their A game.
They also didn't have any way to deal with the Viper. Like Viper, he was pretty much just left unchecked in all these fights. Yeah, and his net worth keeps on accruing because he almost never died. That really fast mech, that turnaround on top was huge. Overall, great gameplay by MVP Phoenix, carried by QO.
Yeah, you can see here Havos on that Bristleback. He did well, got a lot of kills, but do you feel like the Bristleback was the right pick? Should they have gone for something else with that last pick to pair with the Wisp? I mean, you mentioned the Chaos Knight. Was there anything else they could have gone for, do you feel?
I feel like Bristleback was just way too easily kited. I don't necessarily feel like it was his fault. It was just everyone on MVP got too farmed. I don't really think any one hero could handle those 3 farmed, the Viper, the Slark, and the Axe.
It was a very kind of like Illidan-style Slark where he was, I mean, QO had 6 deaths. He died quite, I mean, he got caught out a few times, but the entire time Viper's off farming somewhere on the map. Forev is farming on the Axe, so he was creating a lot of space.
QO's mid-game was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he picked up the blink, it was like, boom, just, he was even sitting on a ton of gold. He could have probably had more impact had he spent his gold, but, I mean, it was just amazing.
I think they also, when they got there, got to give a lot of props to March. His Viper showing up first in the mid lane, and then, I think it was top, then mid, whichever order it was, but he TP'd to other lanes when Na'Vi were dominating the early game. So he kind of saved MVP as far as the early game went.
Yeah, I like MVP's draft a lot, and they had heroes that were, relevant during the whole time. Whereas LC, like, who's he going to duel? If he doesn't duel the Viper, he gets Viper struck, and I don't actually think he wins the duel there. They really wanted to control the Slark, or else he's going to kill their supports. And then the Axe is all up in their face, and they have to find some way to control him. So overall, very well-executed draft by MVP Phoenix. Didn't really win the laning phase, but Na'Vi, their like 8 to 15 minute right before their blinks was extremely weak. They really needed to secure the Ancient Stack, take a big fight, take a Roche, but MVP were very prepared.
All right, well, game 1 in the bag. Na'Vi go down 1-0. This is the lower bracket. Loser's going to get eliminated. We're going to see if MVP can keep the Korean dream alive, go on through the lower bracket. They got knocked down in the first round. Here they are, though, fighting it out with Na'Vi. Stick around. I'm Godz. He's Merlini. Game 2 coming up after this.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.